For mountaineers, this is the launching point for a bid at the world's highest peak. For others, base camp is destination in itself. 3 mountain bikers follow the classic expeditionary route to base camp. Riding and hiking into thin air, this is a battle against the elements. Hello, I'm Andy Mill. Mount Everest Base Camp is the gateway to the world's highest peak. 2 Americans and 1 Nepali will follow the classic trekking route to base camp on mountain bikes. Now, this is not your average trek. In order to reach their goal at 17,600 feet, they'll face a grueling climb, and their worst enemy, high altitude. The rest is in the hands of the mountain gods. Sagarmatha, or to the westerner, Mount Everest, lies on the border between Tibet and Nepal. It's the king of all mountains, and it's part of the awe-inspiring Himalayas, which hold 8 of the world's 10 tallest mountains. From 150 feet above sea level to the highest peak in the world, Nepal's topography covers both the tropical lowlands as well as the majestic Himalayan mountain range. For as long as man has wanted to climb mountains, Everest has stood alone as the ultimate challenge. The sheer beauty, the seduction of death, these mountains have magnetic pull that draw climbers in spite of the dangers. For the first time, 3 bikers will ride into this treacherous domain. They have trained hard to get here, but they will soon realize that sheer physical strength might not be enough to fight the force of the mountains. Our story begins in Kathmandu, 190 miles away from their destination. Kathmandu is a mad mixture of the ancient and the modern. In this third world megacity, smothered in diesel fumes and dirt, 800,000 people compete for space that used to accommodate rickshaws. Jen Nelson, a pro mountain bike racer, has come all the way from Fort Collins, Colorado, with another pro racer, Tattoo Lou DeAngelis. Chambi, a local Nepali from the Everest region, will join them. This will be his first time riding off-road. In a few days, they'll leave the crush of Kathmandu for the sublime serenity of the Himalayas. The Nepalese believe in reincarnation. They say, what you do in this life carries over to the next. Amidst the ruins of one of the oldest temple squares in Patan, east meets west. Kathmandu by night is a carnival of visual sights and sounds. The streets coil and wrap around temples like religious offerings. Religious tolerance is the law of the land. Buddhists, Hindus, and Muslims live peacefully side by side.
I'm very overwhelmed with spirits and people and chaos and tranquility, everything just wrapped into one.
jump starts with a flight from Kathmandu to the town of Lukla at 9,000 feet.
Hey Lou, you still got cotton in yours.
Oh, yeah.
Mingma is head starter or expedition leader.
Take your cotton off.
The average person.
I thought I was still in the helicopter.
It's on the bottom.
No, it's my bike because I've got the soft sleeve.
No.
You got the hard sleeve.
Yeah, I got the one with the bed rail or hanger.
No.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Thank the Buddha.
Lou, you took air out of my tires, right? Oh, this one popped.
No.
Lou and Jen have several advantages over Chambi. Chambi has a basic mountain bike. No shocks, no frills, just 2 fat tires. Lou and Jen have top-of-the-line bikes with full suspension and hydraulic brakes. Tattoo Lou is a former New York City bike messenger turned gonzo downhill racer. From the urban streets to the rugged mountain terrain, the transition was logical, if not easy. When Jen isn't thrashing down mountains at 50 miles per hour, she's a freelance rider. A Berkeley graduate, she now makes her home in Fort Collins, Colorado.
With our dogs, the Staffordshire Bull Terriers, if they were people, they'd be downhill racers, I think. They're intense dogs. They don't do something unless they mean it. You know, they're not gonna chew something up unless they're really gonna tear it to shreds. And even Lou and I, our relationship is intense because we are intense. And I think it's because I'm passionate about what I do. And as far as riding goes, you have to be there paying attention, 100% focused, because your life is on the line.
Yeah, that's my dad up there. He raced motorcycles for a long time, for many years, and probably that's why I ended up doing what I'm doing, because I grew up around racing, you know, all my life.
In the past 5 years, Lou has become an icon on the circuit for his outrageous image and fearless attitude. In his hometown, Lou is considered by the younger bikers to be a guru.
Indian, you can't breathe it.
You take your time, you go at, 1,000 feet a day, you ascend, to certain destinations, so
You
it's
whistle
not...
a cab down.
No! Get me out of here.
Guy pulls over with the yak, loads you up.
Don't tell me how I'm gonna breathe.
You're gonna breathe.
Like what?
Like a sissy. No.
The first day of the 16-day trek, and they're off. Cruising out of Lukla, they're followed by an encouraging farewell crew. Their second day ends at Namche Bazaar at 11,300 feet. This is the original trading post for Sherpas heading into Tibet.
This guy doesn't even breathe hard. He takes his shortcuts, front, straight up.
I said, Lou, wait me. I told a couple of times.
Whenever I get in front of him, he goes, "Hey, you're going the wrong way." And then I go back and he goes, "Oh,
All the way down to get.
I was just saying you're going the right way."
Make a try it, we can catch up.
It had been a good day. The trails were rideable. Everything seemed ideal. Besides seeing groups of foreigners every trekking season, life hasn't changed much at Tamé in the Solo Khumbu region. Children are still curious, and farmers still tend to their land. Trekkers are as much a part of the landscape as a trail of yaks.
I had no idea what to expect. And then we hit a few sections where you really got the true feeling of what you were in store for. I realized that this was going to be pretty hard, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The riding was actually pretty good for a while. The trails were rideable. He's pretty incredible on the bike for someone who hasn't done that much biking. He's learning incredibly fast. He's primo guy.
He's great. He's trying 120%. He doesn't have brakes like we do. We have hydraulic brakes. His brakes are squeaky and his equipment's outdated, and he's someone inexperienced, but he learns so fast. I mean, we're really proud of him.
Wait. You okay?
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Lou and I, we talked about the severity of this trip and the seriousness of the event. But it's definitely similar to what we do anyway. I mean, we race downhill by 50 down mountains. This is a little more extreme, I think, because we've never been to high altitude. Some people think we're stupid, but some people really have a new respect for us. And I think going back to the United States will bring a heightened awareness to our sport. That's what I hope to do.
I thought that it would be a lot more riding than it turned out to be, you know, in the beginning, for sure. It was kind of a, oh boy, what did we get ourselves into kind of thing.
That was like a 4-hour hike-a-bike climb, and it was brutal. I mean, it was doing stair steps or squats for 4 hours with 50 pounds on my back. But after the hike-a-biking I've been doing here, anything I do at any race is small beans, you know, nothing. So I'll be running up in cross-country races now.
Floating on a mesa at 12,600 feet is Tangboche Monastery, the Buddhist spiritual center for the 20,000 Sherpas who live in the Khumbu region. Sherpas are farmers, herders, and traders. They are best known for being the foremost high-altitude guides in the world. They have their own belief system. They are animists who worship the spirits and gods who live in the streams, trees, and mountains of the Everest region. Each morning, the monks wake the gods with chanting and music. The reincarnated Lama lives here, blessing trekkers and Sherpas on their way into the high country.
That hat is fabulous.
That is. You look great.
Gordon Brown and his fiancée Allison Chase, our camera crew, were inspired by the beauty and serenity of the monastery. They decided to marry here in a traditional Sherpa ceremony.
Get that, Jen?
Is this your limo? Is this the limousine? Is this the limousine?
At the reception, the monks discover the simple joys of riding a bicycle.
Yeah. This got it going good. This is classic. They probably have never seen bikes before.
Part of any challenge is the sacrifice it brings. They didn't know they would have to forsake the exhilaration of riding and the rush of speed for days on end. It was now day 6 of the journey. They were spending less and less time on their bikes.
I'm impressed. I'd like
You're
to see him
impressed?
at the top.
We've walked up here and it's a killer.
Is it?
I wouldn't like to carry a mountain bike up. Oh boy.
Are you?
I'd like to come down on one though. Wow.
I think it's pretty wild. I think it's wilder than trying to snowboard around here. Looks like it's a little easier to haul the snowboard.
What about just a backpack?
Yeah. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think
I think probably that's the harder way to go. Great fun. I never seen anything like it. But I'm not going to do it.
That's what I said. That's pretty brutal to me.
I think you guys are completely, utterly rad. That's large. Good luck. It's going to be tough sledding once you get up in the high altitudes.
Okay, so what if you break a fork? You're carrying. We've probably carried 70%, 65, 70%. So we've been doing our share of hiking for sure. We can relate.
I want to know, what do you do when you run into the yaks?
You move to the side.
Hopefully you don't run into them.
I see.
You give them the right of way.
You give them the right of way.
Always.
Great.
These yaks that are coming by, you hear those bells in the background. That's something that you have to encounter, and always you're going to encounter, and you have to remember that these yaks are on the trail, and it's their trail, not my trail. So make sure that you're on the inside.
Don't scare them.
Or you might be on the outside, the way outside. The terrain just changed, and it was like walking on the moon. Desolate and deadly. No trees, just rock. No plant life. It was bizarre. The porters that are working harder than anybody that I've ever seen in my entire life. They weigh 95, 100 pounds. 130 pounds on their back in the snow, on the rocks, in sandals. Never a complaint. They're happy, they're content with their life.
Anyone what I can and can't do.
I really didn't have any worries coming here. I had some concerns, mostly with life after 14,000 feet, because I had never been that high. The altitude, I understand what it can do to you and how quickly it can do it to you without even knowing it.
They decided to make a detour to the Trekkers' aid station in Perichet, the last medical outpost until base camp. Cécile, the French volunteer medic, gives a lecture on the effects of high altitude and explains the use of the gamow, a portable chamber used to treat people with extreme altitude sickness. As many as 1,500 victims of high altitude are treated here each season.
It keeps you cold and wet. That's why we ask people, when they do whatever they want, go up slowly. Now, what does slowly mean? It might differ from a person to another, but statistically it means not more than 300 meters, which is about 1,000 feet, between two nights, over 3,500 meters. I think it's really important to...
None of us were really aware of the seriousness and the exact effects of altitude sickness. We didn't know how it would affect our group, if it would affect our group, if we were affected by it already. She said any time that you are having these symptoms, turn around immediately. Just do it, because you could get pulmonary edema or cerebral edema. Your health could be in serious danger.
It's not to get these people, it's to bring them down.
We headed out to Longlaché. It was even colder, more desolate, and more rocks, and just a very inhumane place. It was very cold and eerie feeling, and it was quite obvious that the altitude was affecting you.
Looks like I'm done. Here you go. Oh, the sun. Ice cold, burning hot. Ice cold, burning hot. Ice cold. Is that the right way? Huh? Blue? Yeah? I think this way. Yeah? Yeah.
The altitude really has effects on you that you're not aware of. I mean, you do have to take it slow. And we were carrying so much weight. All of us, Lou, Jambi, and I, were all carrying at least half our body weight with our backpacks and our bikes. I mean, you can do that at home or at sea level or wherever, but at altitude, I mean, your body crumbles. Not only do you get tired, your body says no.
Somebody's just crushing me. Whoa. I don't have any energy. I think the altitude's just sucking the life out of me. Maybe I should have ate more at lunch. I don't know. Man, look at this. It's flat. Look at this trail. It's flat. I can't even ride. Oh my, holy mackerel. I gotta try. I can't not ride. This is ridiculous. Can't let the mountain beat me. God. This feels so hard. I don't even care how hard you breathe, there's just no oxygen to get. There's none out here. This trail's killing me. I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh, I'm gonna cry. Ah. Johnny, what's all these rocks piled up for?
Oh, those are the dead people.
These are the dead guys on the, up on summit in Everest, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. All these, every little pile of rock is somebody dead?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy.
See the one that's top on the roof?
Let's get out of here. I'm not digging this. I'm not big on dead people. I don't want to have a pile there for me. How about you? Let's go. I had a bad cramp coming up. I felt like I was gonna die.
The journey had become a battle between man and mountain. It looked like Lou's new rival had won many times before. Jambi comes from a long line of Sherpas and understands this land. He never seemed to struggle in this place that seemed to require struggle.
Sprint for the finish. Here's my sprint right now. That's my sprint. I'm going good now.
Oh yeah.
The night in Lobuche was definitely the roughest night sleeping because we didn't sleep much at all. I slept probably 3 hours. I woke up the next morning for our mission to
Base camp. Not too many people really seemed very happy, it didn't seem. It seemed like some people had their doubts, you know, whether we should go or not. It was definitely a long, tiresome journey that, you know, not many people make from Lobichet. I had no will to stay at 17,000, 16,000 feet.
My heart rate was screaming, so I didn't recover. So I was kind of felt like I was in a panic all night for half the night. No sleep, and thought about every problem of my entire life. So, I don't know, that's about it. Just tired. I'll be all right after I get going in a few hours.
My toes are cold. I feel pretty good. I just have cold toes. Well, we're gonna make it, but we just want to.
We'll make it there.
We'll make it there, for sure.
Making it back will be a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way. I can't say that we can make it now. It's a long way.
We don't make it back. Hey, we don't make it back.
It's okay.
We figured from Longbuche to Gorakshep, it was a good 4-hour hike, and then from Gorakshep to base camp, we heard that it was just flat and just a couple hours of easy climbing, not much higher elevation than Gorakshep. So we figured if we got to Gorakshep and we felt okay, we would go on to base camp. I started feeling ill. I started getting a headache, just piercing headache. I just kept having to take breaks. At one point on the trail, Lou said, "Jen, you know, get rid of your pack. Let one of the porters carry your pack." Well,
You're not losing any integrity here.
I'm not going to do it until I need to.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to go any
Smart.
faster.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will, Jen. Believe me, you will. It's a smart thing to do.
Huh?
It's a smart thing to do.
Why are you pissed off?
Because you should
I'm
drop.
not running like you
We're
are?
not running, Jen.
Well,
I'm not telling you to drop your pack and give it to one of these porters. That's what I'm telling you to do.
Well, I don't feel ready to do that.
Well, I won't suffer.
Well, I'm going to suffer anyway.
No, you're not.
I really resisted that for a while, and then I realized that I was pretty tired. I was pushing it, and I did want to make it, so I gave the pack up. Thanks, Big Ma. Appreciate it. So I was very angry at Lou for suggesting that, you know, I'm not gonna relinquish anything. This is, you know, I'm gonna do it the way I set out to do it. But I think actually it probably was the right decision. I got over that pretty quick, actually. This is a lot more serious than I'm thinking. I can't be stubborn here. I have to be smart. Otherwise, you know, I was going to drive myself right into the ground. Oh, stop. I don't think I could do this.
I said, like everything else is dead here, your bike is dead. And human beings are probably not supposed to be here. So, I don't know.
So we got to Gorakshep. Then the debate started again whether we should stay here or go to base camp tomorrow. And
we didn't want to stay there. We heard the water was very poor. Everybody that stayed there was gotten sick. Just because it's so high up, there's not much sanitation. So we knew the only way to do it would just be to charge, make it a 12-hour day.
Basically, my vision was just, you know, I want to go. I don't, you know, I'm not here to mess around. I want to complete my mission. I want to get my bike to base camp no matter what.
Despite the ominous appearance of the expansive and dangerous Khumbu Glacier, it was a welcome sight. Base camp was just a few miles away.
I
got to like the end of the trail, and it seemed like the trail had disappeared. I wasn't sure. I didn't really feel like waiting for the whole group. I wanted to get to base camp, so I figured everybody would follow which way I was going, because I only saw one trail. But I had gotten to the trail where the trail dead end. That, you know, it was a dead end. I thought it was a dead end at least. So I saw the trail down across this valley going up, out towards the glacier. So I said, okay, well, you know, how am I going to get to this trail? Because it was about a, I don't know, 20-foot dirt cliff. So I just tossed my bike down and jumped down slid down the cliff a little bit, you know. And proceeded to get to this trail that I figured went to base camp.
I got really sick, and my body was not going to let me go any farther. I was very ill. I was throwing up. I was very dizzy. It was very hard for me because I felt like, gosh, I'm so close. I should just keep pushing on. I can't feel any worse than this. Just keep pushing. I mean, you only have an hour and a half to go. I really couldn't make a decision. I was just sitting on the rock going, what do I do? I was in the position to make no decision. I mean, if I wasn't with anybody, I'd probably still be on that rock by myself. I mean, your consciousness is not there. Your perception is not clear at all. And Mingma, our expedition leader, he looked at me after I got sick and said, he made my decision for me like that. He said, nope, you're going back. You know, you're sick, you going back. Chambi was fine the whole time. He never got sick or, you know, he of course was tired. You know, he's incredibly smart about this land, the effects of altitude. He's from this valley. He's very well adapted and experienced to this environment.
Chambi continued without Jen along the ridge route to base camp. Lou was nowhere to be seen. Chambi was worried that Lou might be on the old yak route down on the glacier.
I was going out onto the glacier. Base camp was here. The ridge was here. Everybody else was going along the ridge, and they could see base camp. They knew exactly how far they were from base camp pretty much the whole time. Now, I'm down low in the glacier, and I was just rolling in and out and in and out and up and down on this ice, very slippery boulders, rocks like this loose everywhere that you're just walking on. It was almost like you were in a gravel pit full of ice and snow and water running off, and you make one wrong step on some of these little trails and you'd slide down into this huge pool of water with just vertical walls of ice. Just absolutely insane, just bizarre. I started really getting tired. So I got to the point where it was just, I was pretty much done with the bike. I mean, I was contemplating just putting the bike into one of those huge crevasses and saying, oh well, you know, that's just the way it is. I need to save my life. Well, these two Sherpa guys come carrying their packs full of stuff down the trail, and they said to me, "You have problem?" I had never felt so drained in my entire life at this point, you know. But the one Sherpa said, 150 rupees? I take the bike base camp? And I was, you know, my head was spinning at this point, you know, and I was just like, I don't care, whatever, you know. Just let somebody know I'm out here dying, basically. The sun was out and it was glare, and you know, my eyes and my face with my nose was burning off, you know. You could just feel your skin just burning out there, no matter, I don't care what, you know, you had 500 sunblock, you know, it didn't matter, it just burned right through it, because everything around you was reflecting. If you've been in the whiteout, you know that it'll make you crazy after a while. And I felt like I was starting to like almost lose my mind, you know.
I couldn't see base camp. I didn't know how far I had to go. Couldn't be much further than these gigantic glacier walls, you know, they're just ice and rock, and, you know, every 10 minutes there's an avalanche, and the glaciers, it's creaking and, you know, moving, and I'm like, oh, great. Not only am I going to die, but I'm going to experience like an earthquake, or I'm going to get wiped out by, you know, some gargantuan piece of ice, and it was, you know, my mind was going, I was losing my mind, I think, you know. I think I actually, you know, the last probably eighth of a mile, I just lost my mind, just completely lost my mind. I came up over the hill, and I saw colored tents. Ah, the relief, you know, but it wasn't as close as I thought it was. I could barely pick my feet up. You're walking through the boulders and the ice, and you know, it was just like stumble. I don't even know how I was walking, you know. I mean, it was bizarre. I was just dragging my body along, you know, like somebody had a leash on me, just pulling me and pulling me and pulling me. The altitude was just killing me, the journey, my legs, you know, I was just so drained and, you know, happy to be there, but just so disappointed in myself that I didn't carry my bike the last half mile of this journey. I mean, that was probably the most difficult thing for me, because I'm not a quitter, you know. I'm basically feeling like I'm about ready to die. I mean, I didn't know if there was anybody around me or what. I mean, I was there ready to fall over and, you know, watch my heart jump out of my chest. My back had gone into just a huge spasm, just locked up. I couldn't, oh, it was horrible. So, Bill, the guy from North Base, came up and started rubbing my back to get the spasms out of my back. And it helped a lot. And he talked to me a bit and, you know, got me to slow my breathing down and, you know, got me around.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh.
Is this helping your back?
Watch.
Sorry. Is it helping your back? I'll let you drink.
Oh God, I feel so good. Oh, yeah.
You'll be cool. Let's take it easy on your back.
Oh, man. I didn't think it was that far. And, you know, that guy told me, oh, it's not so bad. It's, you know, it's be rideable. A lot of it's rideable. Shh, nothing. Zero. Not a thing. I couldn't barely walk it. I just stumbled and fallen. And, oh, God, I almost dropped a huge boulder on my leg. Oh, my God. Can't believe it. I can't believe I'm here. I'm amazed that I'm here. I thought I was going to just be laying out there in the snow. Oh, my God.
And then somebody told me said, you know, here comes the other group. I see a bike. Oh, it's Chambi, you know, and I was like, oh, it's cool. I mean, you know, Chambi had to be definitely tired, man. I mean, he's a local, but I know he was feeling it. I was incredibly happy to see that he had made it without any injury. I mean, he's just a dynamite guy. We struggled through this whole journey, and I mean, he basically learned how to ride a mountain bike on this journey, you know, which was incredible.
Chambi, I think you're at base camp.
Yeah.
His people were very proud of him when he showed up. I could tell that there was just this incredible energy in the air, and it was kind of inspirational to know that he'd made it. You know, I felt really good for him, but I wasn't like rejoicing. I mean, I could barely talk. So I was happy for Chambi in my mind.
Jen had recovered at the lower altitude, and they began their descent. Not everyone reached their goal of bringing their bike to base camp, but they were all taking away a larger experience.
You can push yourself farther, I mean, every single day. You can push yourself as far as you want to go. And to me, I think that's really important to life. Go to that far point every day. You know, climb a mountain and see the top of the ridge and accomplish something every day.
It's been a great experience. It's been beyond the earth. It's been outer space for sure. It's amazing riding. You have to like to hike. I mean, you have to enjoy climbing on the rocks and, you know, doing that. But it's definitely absolutely amazing.
These mountains are not sacred for nothing. They offer a lot of mystery and mysticism. There's no predictability. It's very pure, and people accept things the way they are.
Good teamwork. Yeah, very good. I've prayed for many years to be able to come to this place. It was kind of a dream come true.